Number 54, Paul Michael. Number 53, Tony Taimani. Number 55, Sunny Toyota. And number 56, Paul Bingham. The Bingham captains, number 52, Amanaki Pingala. Number 30, Kobe Continent. Number 36, Hunter Gordon. And number 2, Ryan Wood. Each has won the coin toss and has deferred their choice to the sideline. But the one thing that time hasn't changed is the way they feel about service. The next time you need tires, keep lush water in mind. We have a promotion here from our corporation that our participants would like to do. Remember to refuel the chocolate milk and never forget your best once it tastes good. Check out the national news for the best place to read about truck stories online at DesNews.com. Desperate News, now you know. The head football coach of East High School is Randy Manich. The principal is Mr. Greg Mock. The head football coach of Bingham High School is John Hunter. The principal is Mrs. Kristen Winchester.
Welcome into Rice-Eccles Stadium for the 6A state championship football game. The Bingham Miners and the East Leopards. Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart with you here at Rice-Eccles Stadium. It is cold, it is snowy, could have some more rain, but Dane, it doesn't matter. These are two teams that are going to keep the ball on the ground. They're going to run hard. It's a rematch of Week 2. East is hungry to prove the Week 2 is not the difference of what these two teams were, which was a 48-17 win for the Bingham Miners.
You're right, and this is an East team that has really seen, in my opinion, a big increase in their confidence, Dusty, and the way they play football. Look, it's a very confident group. Three-time defending state champion in the former 4A classification. Now the 5A, of course, they bump up to 6A. They get the game that they wanted. For East and Coach Madich, it's about being the face of Utah high school football, and if they win this game, that goes a long way towards accomplishing that goal.
Back-to-back 4A state championships for the East High Leopards, and for Bingham, they have been the gold standard in the state of Utah since 2006. And we are underway in the 6A championship game. That ball sails in to the end zone, and we'll bring it out with the Bingham Miners. Chance to see Ryan Wood and the Miners for the first time today. Ryan Wood was in a battle for the starting quarterback position with Peyton Jones back in week 2. They were in the quarterback carousel. No longer the case. It is his team, his offense, and we're going to start with Ka'ili as the deep back.
Ka'ili, one of the big studs for Bingham this year. Really a 2-horse running game, but Ka'ili's their power back.
And it is Ka'ili on first down, and he's dropped at the line of scrimmage. It is Nick Harris. Interestingly enough, Nick Harris was the starting quarterback last year in the 4A state championship game for East, and he's a team captain and a linebacker this year.
Yeah, he really flows to the football well. Wearing number 16, you see him come up right up the middle and just laying the hit on Ka'ili as his teammate comes in to help finish it off. But Nick Harris, one of the captains, well, one of the leaders of this defense, and he's kind of the guy, not afraid to talk to his teammates, get them all in the right position on the same page.
It's Braden Whistler on the carry, and Whistler makes a nice move across the 25 to the 27-yard line, a gain of a few yards. It'll be third down and short.
Boy, and a big block. Tausinga, number 7, one of the outside linebackers for these East Miners, really good, lined up in the middle there, but watch this cut block right on him, coming back inside the offensive lineman to take out Tausinga, as that block by Brody Price really set up a couple of extra yards for Whistler on the carry.
Whistler had a huge game back in week 2 against East. It's third down and 3 now for the Miners. Quick set. Wood going to take off, and down he goes. Apuika with the sack. Back to the 26-yard line, and it'll bring out the punting unit for Coach Lamborn and the Miners.
For all the talk about Bingham, run, 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 run. This is a third and short, and he wants to go to Cosper. Look at this single read, but it's bracket coverage up top, corner underneath, safety up high. Nowhere for Wood to throw it. And Apuika, the big junior, getting an early sack in this contest, and Bingham going 3 and out.
Wood is the punter, waiting around the 47-yard line. And on a short return, it'll be East High football. On the short return was Christian Nash, the Utah State University commit. And now our first chance to see Ben Ford and this high-powered Leopard offense, which in week 2, Dane started out strong and then had a tough second half.
Yes, that's a good way to put it, Dusty. And I think that, one of the things that's going to be interesting is what confidence does that give each squad, that week 2 performance. It's going to be interesting. That's going to be one of the underlying stories all game long.
Ben Ford kept that ball, and he was stopped by Lolani Longi, Samote Pepa as well. We're going to be saying those names a lot today.
Yeah, for those of you who are familiar with Bingham and J2 Fele, now down at the University of Southern California, Samote Pepa is after a similar mold and dominating skill set. Number 77, the big nose tackle for Bingham, makes the tackle on that second down carry as well.
Lame Felatoa on the carry. And it is now third down and 6. It'll be Charlie Vincent on the jet sweep, and Charlie has nowhere to go. Charlie's buried for a short gain, stopped by number 45, Junior Talfuna, and it is now fourth down and 6 for the Leopards.
One of the things that in last week's semifinal that Lone Peak did to East was they really took down a lot of that perimeter run game. And here for Bingham, you see them do very similar. Outside linebackers, corners, just really limiting. There's nowhere for Vincent to go. He gets that ball to the perimeter, but he's got 3 Miners waiting for him, and no gain on the play.
And kicks away. Takes a Leopard roll, and will keep going as Whistler watches it go inside the 5. That ball probably could have reached the 1, but it'll be Miner football at the 2-yard line. As we have a timeout on the field, we'll take it with them. 8:50 remaining in the first quarter. It'll be the Miners with their second possession. You're watching the 6A championship on live.KSL and DeseretNews.com.
Xfinity On Demand is providing coverage of today's event. Xfinity has captured all of the action today. Pause, rewind, and rewatch all of your favorite players and plays with Xfinity On Demand. Go to Xfinity On Demand, then go to Get Local, then choose CBT Sports. First and 10 for the Miners at the 2-yard line.
Out of the break, it is 1st and 10 from the 2-yard line. Ka'ili is the deep back. It'll be Wood on the quarterback sneak, trying to get out of the shadows of their own goalpost. Has maybe 2 yards. Well, actually, give him a yard on 1st down. It'll be 2nd and 9.
And, you know, interesting, that's a play that Bingham will run inside of their regular offense. Just quarterback sneaks on 1st down and only picking up a yard. Now, East obviously going to be more prepared for that, the ball being inside their own 5, but it speaks to the different level that East is at compared to some of their 6A counterparts. That's a play that is not uncommon to go 10, 15 yards in a normal game for Bingham.
It's Whistler on 2nd down, and Braden breaks one tackle. He can't break another. Nice job of knifing through and get the initial hit was Paul Miley, and then it was a number of different Leopards cleaning up Whistler, and it's 3rd and 9.
Boy, it's just take your pick. I mean, Maley as well as Apuika. I mean, there's just a ton of guys. And it's kind of one of those things. You see Nick Harris coming in late as well as Chase Peterson. This defense really flies around, and give a lot of credit to Whistler for taking the first hit, but just no running room.
And on 3rd and 9, it's Wood. The throw, pressure comes, and he just gets out of the end zone. That could have been a safety. Getting the sack is Putu Tau coming in along with Johnson, Hansen, and it'll be 4th down. The punting unit coming on once again.
Tennessee Putu Tau, the leading sack man for this East defense. And I mean, there's a couple guys we'll talk about. Putu Tau, Hansen. There's a lot of guys that really rack up the sacks. But, boy, Wood just fortunate to get out of the end zone and prevent the safety. But look out. I tell you, Coach Madich, he's going to bring the troops on this one.
Isn't it amazing the number that Coach Madich puts on a guy? Number 2 means you are my running back.
Yeah.
Number 9, you are the pass rusher, Corey Rush, and then Lolohia. And now it is Putu Tau as that fair catch is made. And it'll be the 2nd possession now for the East Leopards, but a short field at the 36-yard line.
Boy, in that time, the East sideline erupted a little bit. And Nash hearing it as he heads to the sideline, he had a lot of room in front of him. I think they were a little disappointed that he didn't look for a return on that. I mean, he took the fair catch at the 36. It's great field position. But against a minor defense, a difference of 10 or 15 yards might be the difference in a field goal attempt. Interesting decision there by Nash. And we'll see if this East Leopard, if it'll matter for this East Leopard offense. Felatoa
set right behind Ford, and it's a triple option. Ford coming near side now gives it up to Charlie Vincent. Vincent has some room, and a collision along the sideline, and Charlie Vincent is slow to get up, and it'll be a 1st down, a fresh set of downs at the 24.
Looking at the knee, you have a good look at Vincent right there, and he is in a lot of pain.
He was grabbing his hip initially, and while they tend to him, let's step aside. 6:49 left in the 1st quarter.
They're going to roll because he's off the field.
We'll keep rolling here. I'm glad you saw that, Dane, because here we go. Quickly up, 1st and 10. And it'll be Molisi and nothing doing up front. Nice job by this Bingham front getting in there. One of my favorite names on the year, Ata with the stop.
He's another one of those linebackers for these Bingham Miners that, Dusty, there's just not a lot of room to work with. As we have a look at the replay, you see.
This is the injury here.
Yep. So the bite up, and you see that push out of bounds and just nowhere to go. And boy, that leg gets caught underneath. You see that left leg get caught underneath Vincent as he came down. Boy, a bad injury there for Charlie Vincent.
Yeah, not good. Here's Molisi, nothing doing up front. Terrific job knifing through and getting a hand on him initially was Fotu, and then cleaned up by David Latu.
And right now, Vincent up. He's walking, not being assisted to. tried to get back to the coaching staff and prevent it. I think they're going to want to take a further look at him at the bench before clearing him to get back on the field. But it's good to see that Vincent is at least walking around.
There'll be a pass here, quick hit and catch. First down for the East Leopards. That's Josh Nielsen with the catch. 1st and 10, East.
By the way, did you see who threw that ball? Because it wasn't Ben Ford. How about Nick Harris coming in under center, and a nice throw by Harris to pick up the first down.
And Harris staying in at quarterback. I didn't see Ford leave the field.
I didn't either.
Remember Nick Harris, who I mentioned earlier, won the state championship game a year ago at quarterback. His fellow department, that was Molisi on the carry, gain of 4, maybe 5 yards. And it'll be a 2nd down and short.
In fact, it was one of the storylines coming in as Harris checks back into the game right now. Harris last year dislocated his elbow in the semifinal against Maple Mountain. Ford, thank you. Ford dislocated his elbow in the semifinal last year for East. Missed the championship game. He came in to take late snaps in victory formation, but he was so excited to be able to play in the state championship game and start for Coach Matic.
Felatoa set right behind Ford. It'll be Felatoa on the carry, and he's inside the 5 down to the 3-yard line. It'll be a yard short of the yard to gain, and it'll be 3rd down and 1.
Nice inside give, and Long, he was one of the guys that you mentioned, Dusty, pregame. You thought would be big for Bingham. Isaac Stevenson on the tackle as well for the Miners. 3rd and short, but right now, East offense looking pretty comfortable, Dusty.
Right now, all old Uncle Mo is sitting on the team in white. Ford, quick set, give to Felatoa, and that's a 1st down. It'll be 1st and goal for the East Leopards at the 1-yard line.
Boy, and Felatoa gets hit right as he's getting the football. Look at that. Coming right in was Ata, and Felatoa able to get around him and power inside to the 2-yard line to set up a 1st and goal.
It'll be Felatoa right behind Ben Ford. And it'll be Ford sneaking in and in for the touchdown. The East Leopards strike first.
There's a lot of things to love about this play call, Dusty, but part of what I love about it, it's a little bit of Bingham's own medicine. How about the quarterback keeper from 2 yards out? And Ben Ford, we mentioned, didn't play in the championship game last year till the closing seconds, and he nets the first points in this state championship game for the East Leopards.
What a start for East. I don't think it could have started any better for them other than an opening drive touchdown, but a nice punt that pinned Bingham back, a short punt back to them after a nice defensive stand, and to punch it in. Things starting really well for Coach Matic and the Leopards. And this extra point will be redone as Flores and lined up. False start against the East Leopards, and we'll redo it. Back them up 5 yards.
One of the things you have to take note of when you play the Bingham Miners, you almost have to play the perfect ball game. And it's just a penalty, it's just 5 yards, it's just on a point after, but you can't get in the mode of penalties and turnovers when you play Bingham.
And the extra point is good. 3:53 remaining in the first quarter. East strikes first. They lead Bingham 7-0. You are watching the 6A State Championship on the Watch It Network. Welcome back to Rice-Eccles Stadium. Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart with you. As always, our commentary brought to you by Tosh Orthopedic Specialty Hospital. Any type of pain and discomfort, get to the experts at Tosh for a free injury assessment. 801-314-4040. And what a start for the East Leopards. Good job on defense. Played some field position, get a short field, punch it in for 6. And they lead Bingham 7-0. And this is much more of what they thought that Week 2 matchup would look like. And we ate some crow on Deseret News Rewind after Week 2. Right now, East looking very, very strong to start this championship game. And the kick will be taken by Whistler at the 1-yard line. Braden looking for a seam. Whistler is dangerous. Cross midfield. Braden, the 45, still on his feet, still going. Whistler inside the 30 and finally pulled out of bounds at around the 25-yard line. How about this junior running back?
Boy, what an answer by the Bingham Miners, and beautiful blocking set up. Huge lane right up the middle, and Whistler able to take it down the sidelines. I thought he may have stepped out right near midfield, but the officials didn't see it, and I couldn't tell. But a big return and a nice answer for Coach Lamborn and his squad as they are set up deep in East territory.
Just what the doctor ordered if he's wearing royal blue anyway. With that return from Whistler. He had that huge game in Week 2. He's been a little quiet since then, but the Bingham offense team, I'd say, has been a little quiet. But he's also been splitting a lot of time with Ka'ili as well. And Ka'ili is his lead fullback here on first down. Run the power to the right side, not much there. Is dropped by Pututau and Nick Harris.
And that time Alpuika comes bursting through. Look at 62 fighting off the block. Whistler just beats him. But it's just not going to be a lot of easy running room. And Nick Harris with another tackle. How about Nick Harris contributing on both sides of the ball here in the early going for East?
Certainly has the ability to do so.
Yes.
Whistler remains the deep back. It'll be Ryan Wood. He has Ka'ili open in the flat, but he wants to run. Ka'ili sets up the block, and we got a 1st and 10 for the Miners as Ryan Wood gets it done with his legs. 1st and goal, Bingham.
Boy, yeah, what a play. No one picked up Ka'ili, and I'm like, gosh, that's an easy dump off. But Wood sees it, but he sees beyond Ka'ili. You see 32 right there, and he's, oh, no, go block, go block. And a nice pickup on the carry by Ryan Wood, setting up a 1st and goal here for the Miners.
Yeah, maybe Ka'ili just gets dropped. You get probably got more yards with Ka'ili picking up the block.
Yeah, I think that's what he was thinking.
Whistler remains the deep back. It'll be Whistler. He starts it off with a kickoff return. He finishes it in the end zone. Touchdown, Bingham. The Miners answer the East score.
Boy, the easiest yards of the day. First the Wood carry, and then this time Whistler. I mean, a beautiful vision shown there by the junior tailback for Bingham. And I don't think anyone even touched him, Dusty. Number 1 goes into the end zone for his first touchdown in a state championship game. Trying to tie it up.
And the point after is up, and it is good. Game on. 2:35 remaining in the first quarter. And it is Bingham and East tied at 7. All tied up at 7 in the 6A state championship. Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart with you. Brandon Lopez will kick this ball away. There's 3 men back waiting for this kick. And it'll be taken at the 4-yard line by Jalen Vickers, the former Miner, and he got absolutely blown up. How about that hit from Sione Fotu?
Wow. Hey, that's a friendly reunion, huh? Hey, remember me? Not sure if he does. Fotu, just a sophomore, but the whole stadium looking at that hit on the Jumbotron. Woohoo!
So
Laying the wood.
Remember Scout Team?
I heard you made a joke about me, huh?
Nick Harris comes in to start this drive at quarterback, as he's been playing very, very well at linebacker. It'll be Harris to throw. He's got a man, just overthrew him. And it'll be 2nd down and 10. In fact, Dane, Ben Ford on the field as well.
That's right. Yeah, they threw Ben out in a route. Kind of surprised, Dusty.
He's the new Charlie Vincent.
Yeah. And maybe they feel like his speed is what they needed to do, because that was really when they made that switch. Push forward outside, and he certainly has that ability, Dusty. In that quarterfinal game, Ben Ford had 2 carries for 265 yards. I mean, he has that speed and breakaway ability, but right now I think East missing Charlie Vincent.
Timeout taken on the field. We'll take it with them. 7-7 here in the first quarter.
Today's team ball is being provided by Wilson. Wilson is the official ball of the Utah High School Activities Association Championships. Visit MaxPreps.com for stat schedules, rosters, and more. MaxPreps, America's source for high school sports. Today's event is being streamed live online and will be available for replay at live.asl.com.
2:23 remaining in the first quarter. And interesting to see the East Leopards have to scramble a little bit here. As we mentioned, Charlie Vincent got hurt on that opening drive. And I don't see him down the sideline right now being tended to or anything else.
He's on the table right now. They're still checking out that knee.
And right now we've got some changes as Ben Ford now back at quarterback. And it'll be Felatoa on the carry. And Felatoa across the 20-yard line to the 22. And it'll be 3rd down and 5.
Nice carry here for Lame is able to get that ball across. And, one of the things that you got to watch out for, and we saw it in week 2, is that point of exchange becomes so important. And when the Bingham Miners start putting pressure and they get through that offensive line to that point of exchange, that's where a lot of fumbles and a lot of disaster can happen if you're an East fan. Got to pick up the blocking up front and make sure that exchange. You saw Felatoa had to do almost a double take on the football.
And now we got a flag on the play. And it's an offside penalty against the Miners.
That's going to give it 1st down.
Yeah, that's a 1st down handed to East.
Boy, and typically you don't see that sort of thing from the Bingham Miners. Dusty, usually very disciplined and very aware. And, it's not that they jumped, or I think someone just lined up offside, frankly. But
that's where I do wish they would change the rule back to where it used to be.
Yeah.
Because every other level of football, you can come back.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, it's 3rd down and 1. They didn't quite give him that. The ball is loose.
Bingham
Turnover. Bingham has it.
You see Molisi and that ball coming out. A fantastic job by Bingham. Didn't even see a head on the ball, Dusty. I think he just punched it out, and it might have been, I think it was Kobe Bantangi, the senior linebacker. He comes up with it there. I think he was the guy that came in and punched that ball away from Sione Molisi, and a big East turnover here late in our first quarter.
Never pile on a young man, but remember last week, Molisi came in late and turned the ball over as well, and right now, he's certainly not what East needed.
Yeah, he missed 3 weeks with an injury. They gave him late last week, and here this one ends up in a turnover.
How about this defense? Terrific job knifing through initially was Andre Toilolo, and then cleaned up.
Boy, it's very rare that you say that Bingham gets outblocked, right? But that time just flat out outblocked. And the pursuit of a couple of guys, Pudutau, one of them, able to get back there, and a 7-yard loss for Braden Worcester. That's got to be one of his biggest losses of the season, Dusty. That does not happen often to old number 1 for Bingham.
So it'll be 2nd down and 17 for the Miners. And it is Wood with a lot of pressure, and Apu Ika with another sack, his 2nd of the half. And it'll be 3rd down and a mile for the Miners.
You know, this is exactly what East needed, right? I mean, the offense turns the ball over, and look at Apu Ika. I mean, just can't handle him. Again, when was the last time the Bingham Miner offensive line, and we've seen Apu Ika get in the backfield a couple of times, and we're just in the first quarter. One of the things we've talked about, Dusty, on Deseret News Rewind, is that this whole front 7, front 6 has 3- and 4-star recruits up and down the line for East. This is a very different group, and one that is at a different talent level than Bingham's accustomed to.
From the shotgun, Wood gonna step up, and he's down again. How about this? Pudutau with the sack, and that is the final play of the first quarter at the end of 1. It's Bingham 7, it's East 7. The 6A championship. We head to the 2nd quarter after the sack from Pudutau.
That's the end of the first quarter with the score of Bingham 7 and East 7. Ticket time is the official mobile ticketing provider for the UHSAA. Search Ticket Time in your app store and download the app today. It's the 6A championship action on both KJS and KMYU. All of this made possible by American First Credit Union and University of Utah Health Alliance.
Welcome back to Rice Eccles Stadium. Start of the 2nd quarter. It'll be a punt from the Bingham Miners. That first quarter, Dane, wow, I mean, there's parts of it you thought, okay, this looks like East game, and all of a sudden it's Bingham and it's East. I mean, this is kind of not what we expected, but evenly played.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, I'll tell you this, I'm surprised at how good East has been on the defensive line, Dusty. And I know they've had the talent there, but there is not a lot of room for Bingham to work. And I think the thing that's really alarming if you're Coach Lamborn is there's pressure getting in your backfield. And that time, I mean, Pudutau with the sack on 3rd down, but he dominates that play the moment the ball is snapped. The center just being pushed back, never had any sort of leverage on Pudutau. And he's back in Ryan Wood's grill before he's able, I mean, really to come out of his drop back. And so to me, this is what East has done on the D front is going to be big. And it'll be interesting to see if that wears away at this Bingham offensive line over the course of the game.
Ryan Wood with a nice end-over-end kick. We had a collision downfield, and that ball goes out of bounds at around the 13-yard line, and that's where the East offense will take over. You know, for everything that's happened and everything that took place in that first quarter, neither team did anything in a long field, Dane.
That's right. Yeah, short fields, both of them. East only had 35 yards to go. Bingham had, what, 25 yards to go, and both able to take advantage. The interesting thing is what you're alluding to, Dusty, is who's going to be the first team that can really flip the field or put together a long drive.
And we've got confusion right now for this East offense. We've got guys all over the place. As Johnson Hanson now comes in, he's split to the top of the screen here on 1st down. And it'll be Felatoa, and Felatoa finds a lane. Keeps going, big fella. Across midfield, we got a flag on the play. Some of this is going to probably come back, but as a big rumble from Lame Felatoa.
And this is the guy that really came on the scene when Molisi went out with the injury. And look at Felatoa just power through. I mean, he's contacted behind the line of scrimmage, able to get through it, and then a nice cutback here by Felatoa. And this kid, look, he's not a 4.4 kid, but he's quick enough, Dusty. And to me, a fantastic run. You see the penalty flags come in, and it was the block by Hansen, I think, that is going to earn this.
I mean, the foul penalties on Johnson Hansen, I question it, but that's fine. I mean, he does get him in the back, and it was down the field. It wasn't an egregious-looking thing, but we see it one more time.
Watching near the bottom of your screen, it's going to be number 6. He's coming in at the top. I mean, I don't know that I see much there. I think he's right on his side. I'm with you, Dusty, a hand on the hip, and I think maybe the thing that was most disturbing out of that is the contact by the friendly fire maybe makes it look like the block in the back, but I didn't see much there that would warrant a flag.
And it'll be Felatoa on first down, and it'll be a short gain, and second down and 7.
You know, we talked we mentioned in our pregame, Dusty, about the game 2 weeks ago that is now the single season rushing record in the state of Utah. East had over 700 yards of rushing offense against American Fork. 3 backs. Well, 2 backs averaged over 20 yards a carry. Lame was one of them.
It'll be fly sweep coming near side, well diagnosed, and Molisi dropped. Nice job by Matangi on the edge, and it'll be third down and 7.
Fantastic job with the exterior defense. You see coming up, and Matangi just makes a nice solo tackle there to prevent Molisi from getting up the field. This is one of those moments, Dusty, where if East converts this, they're flipping that field position again. This is an important play, in my estimation, for Bingham to really try to shut down, get the defense off the field.
Quickly to the line, here comes Ford, and Ford pulls, and he went to pitch. Matangi was right there, and then it was Longi coming and cleaning him up, and it'll be fourth down and 4 for East.
Yeah, and Molisi Ford wanted to pitch this ball. Look at him, look, and he just, you see Molisi's a good couple yards behind him.
That pitch ratio was off.
Yep, and that's great recognition by Ford seeing that. I mean, could have been much worse, right? You go to throw that football expecting your back to be there, and he's not, and it's a turnover. But good recognition by Ford.
Out comes Toilolo to kick this thing away. As Toilolo gets over and end over end kicked, it takes a 9-iron bounce. And it'll be Bingham football at the 39-yard line. And we got a timeout on the field. We got a timeout here. Second quarter, we're all tied at 7 in the 6A championship.
6A academic all-staters, please report immediately to the southwest corner of the field. Parents and guardians of our all-staters are welcome to come down to the field when the ceremonies begin and snap photos with the other players. Again, attention 6A academic all-staters, please report immediately to the southwest corner of the field. Thank you.
Welcome back into Rice-Eccles Stadium. Out of the timeout. 9:17 left in the half. And it'll be Whistler coming near side, and Whistler popped and dropped by Nick Harris. What a first half for Nick Harris.
You know, it's a good thing for East that Nick Harris is such a good tackler, because he misses that and Whistler's gone. I mean, that's a 61-yard touchdown. Harris comes in, Nice tackle made there, and you see over the top Peterson was waiting for him, but if Whistler can turn that back to the middle of the field without Harris, there's not a lot of men that can track down Braden Whistler.
The power running game is looking more effective than any tosses. Why, as I say that, here comes Putu Tau from the backside to pull down Whistler.
Did you say power? Putu Tau displaying his power for the world to see right there. And we mentioned this offensive line for Bingham. They've struggled with number 9. They do so again. Just beats his man to the inside. Tell you what, you look up and down the line of scrimmage. I mean, East has 50 to 100 pounds at every position. I mean, they are just much bigger and stronger. We've seen that here in the early going.
It'll be play action. Wood has nowhere to go, and down he goes. Hansen was waiting for him, and Johnson Hansen with another sack for this East defense. Last week they had 9 sacks against Lone Peak. Dane, I think this is 4 here in the first half.
And you see Johnson Hansen, I mean, he's reading that the entire way. Look, they played Bingham earlier this year. They know what they like to do. Bootleg on third down, play action, and Johnson Hansen is ready for it. And all over Ryan Wood, absolutely nothing he can do. Just has to eat the 9-yard loss.
Punting unit on once again as Wood gets off a nice end-over-end kick. That'll take a bounce out around the 28-yard line. And we'll have a chance to see the East offense once again. They'll start at the 30 as neither team has been able to sustain a long drive in this ball game. Both of them have had some big plays, but unless they've started on the other side of the 50, no scores.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, I don't know that I quite expected that personally. I thought that we'd be able to see a few more drives out of these two units, but it speaks to how good these defenses are. We knew the defenses would be good, but man, they've really excelled here in the first half.
Here's Jalen Vickers. Lolani Longi was right there, and Ata came to clean him up as well. And it'll be second down and about 12, maybe 13.
Yeah, no trickeration here. Is Longi all over that one. Able to see that ball cleanly as no one picks up. Longi, the defensive end. Fantastic job by 43 for Bingham to shut down that play for no gain against his former teammate.
And on top of that, just the timing was off on that play as well. It was not a clean fly sweep. As Molisi's now in the backfield. Toilolo also there as well. Felatoa on the triple option. Ford now gets it off to Molisi, and there's a room down the sideline. Molisi has a first down carry across the 45-yard line. 1st and 10 East.
And this is where, in my opinion, Molisi is more effective in the open field. We saw an interior carry early. He fumbled on. How about Ford has that ball tucked away and then has the recognition and alertness to pitch that back to Molisi. And you see Sione in the open field, he's money. And a fantastic job up the sideline picking up 18 for Sione.
First and 10 for East at the 45. And it'll be Felatoa dropped at the line of scrimmage. Samote Pepa with the stop. It'll be second down and 9.
We talked about Pepa a little bit earlier. We mentioned Jay Tufele last year, 5-star defensive tackle, missed a majority of the year for the Bingham Miners. And Samote Pepa, as a sophomore, filled in and did a fantastic job. 6'3", 330, just a junior, number 77. Has really shut down the interior run game for this Bingham defense all year long.
I thought something said about him to us back in Las Vegas was shocked me. Coach Lambert goes, you know what, we didn't miss a beat. That stunned me when he said that. Ford gonna throw. Fires, that ball's through the hands of Nielsen.
Boy, and I think it's Ford who went down. He got, no, it isn't Ford, it's someone else. Got tangled up.
Toilolo.
Yep, and you could just see it out of your screen there as I think Tufele was trying to put the pressure on and rolled up, and Toilolo got stuck underneath, and well, he was not happy. He couldn't tell if he thought there might have been injury there. He was able to get up and walk off, and it's good news for East, but I saw a pretty demonstrative response after the play from Troy Lolo.
3rd and 9 now for East. I don't think I've seen them this out of sorts. Sia Hamilton comes in. And it'll be Molisi. Molisi has a first down. 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. Nice carry by Sione Molisi.
How about his first 2 carries of the day, 2 yards and a fumble. His last 2, 29 yards. And you see Molisi at the top of the screen there. As we roll this forward, it's going to be a nice little counter trap as Molisi comes across, and a fantastic job of blocking. It was a nice hole and able to take it up for 11 yards. And once again, Molisi, get him outside of the A gap. I like him around the edge for this East offense.
Again, confusion here for East. And a timeout taken by the Leopards. It is their first timeout of the half. 5:27 left in the half. You're watching the 6A State Championship on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com. Out of the timeout. And it's Felatoa, the big fella, inside the 35-yard line, down to the 32. Another first down for the Leopards.
Boy, starting to see some gashing runs given up by Bingham, and that time a couple of kids, including I think Matangi was there for Bingham, ended up getting the tackle. But Felatoa able to get through a couple of arm tackles, and East starting to roll here, get the ground game going late in this first half.
This is the most sustained drive we've seen in this first half from either team.
Yep.
William Parkin at the top of the screen. As Ford.
Gotta hurry.
Gotta get going. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. They just get this off as Ford pulls on the option. Pops off a couple tackles, but is dropped at the 30-yard line for a gain of 2. It's 2nd down and 8.
Boy, pretty remarkable that Ford's able to pick up any yards on this. Had pursuit from behind and not a lot of room up the field for the quarterback to work with, and somehow the senior able to get ahead for a pickup of a pair. Nice job by Ford on the play.
Second down and 8. Felatoa is dropped for a short gain by Samote Pepa. It is now 3rd down and 6 for East. Imagine which is 2-down territory here for Coach Matic.
It's again Samote Pepa. I mean, you look at him, and Dusty, he doesn't look to be a real athletic kid. I mean, we mentioned 6'3", 330, but man, he moves so well. And you mentioned that comment by Coach Lamborn. I mean, I saw Samote a couple times last year, came away super impressed with him. It's a kid who has to be a little mindful of his weight, right? Got to stay in a manageable area. But man, he can really dominate the run game from the defensive side, and a nice job showing that athleticism on the tackle there on 2nd down.
3rd down. Here comes Ford. Ford can't slip a couple tackles, tracked down from behind by David Locktu. It'll be 4th down and 3 for East.
See Ford get through one tackle and wrapped up there on the second by David Latu, the junior. And this was going to be one of my questions. At which point do you try for a field goal if you're East? Martin Flores has been a pretty good kicker this year for the East Leopards, but he's going to stay on the sideline.
It'd be a 42-yard attempt. But right now it's 4th and 3. That is Molisi in motion. And they thought they got Ata to jump, but no whistle.
Well, I thought he might have too. It was awfully close.
And timeout taken before the snap. Just in the nick of time. Timeout, East. 2:49 left in the second. We'll come back. 4th down and 3 in the 6A championship.
That's all 6A academic all stadiums. Please report now to the southwest corner of the field.
It's 4th down and 3 for the Leopards. 2:49 remaining in the half, tied at 7 here in the 6A championship game. The weather is somewhat blown over as our nightcap teams are thankful for that too. But 4th and 3, here we go. Toilolo in motion and dropped in the backfield, no shot. Ford couldn't even get out for the option as he's dropped in the backfield by Junior Tafuna.
Boy, I think Bingham had to be in the huddle, right? I mean, they ran this play better than East did. And I mean, the moment that Ben Ford gets the football, he's got Tafuna breathing down his neck and absolutely no chance for East to convert the 4th down. A fantastic stand by this Bingham defense. As you see Tafuna, Longy in there as well, but it was Tafuna around the edge where there's just nothing Ford's going to be able to do.
So out comes Ryan Wood and the Bingham Miners after turning it over on downs. Wood gonna throw. He's going deep for Cosper. One-on-one with Vickers. And it's Cosper pulling it in for the 1st down.
The first completion of the game for Ryan Wood, and it goes 31 yards to the future BYU Cougar, Braden Cosper. And this is a fantastic throw. I thought the quarterback play was going to be a big differentiator in this state championship game, and that's the first time where we can really attribute that wonderful reception by Cosper going up against former teammate Vickers and pulling down the ball out of the air.
And here is Kaili, and Kaili cut down at the line of scrimmage. On the stop was Eastai's Lami Tasinga. And it'll be 2nd down and 8. Kaili will remain the deep back. Milne at the bottom of the screen. It is Cosper at the top of the screen. And man alive, we have we're all over there. And I think we'll have a false start. I don't know if we have a 6 on the offense, but it's probably number 5. But
could have called it on a handful of guys, Dusty. There were a couple, the timing there certainly off.
The whole left side of the line.
Yeah.
Game 2 of 3 today, but big play nonetheless coming up. Wood going deep for Cosper again. Vickers won't be picked on twice. Jalen Vickers with the interception, and it's East tie football.
This secondary for East, they got beat a couple of times against American Fork in the quarters. Last week they played pretty well, and this time it's Vickers. How about Vickers going up? What a leap for Jalen Vickers. That's a pretty good vertical on that kid, huh?
That was. Played basketball 3 years 2 years at Bingham, played on the state championship football team and basketball team a year ago.
Yep.
Transfers to East, and now a pick in the championship game against Bingham.
And a huge way to kill that drive for Bingham with 1.5 minutes to go here in the second quarter.
It's Felatoa on the carry on first down. Got maybe a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
Ford trying to sneak that handoff in, but the Bingham defense not fooled.
And Bingham takes their first timeout of the half. 1:27 left in the half. Timeout on the field.
Xfinity On Demand is providing coverage of today's game. Xfinity has captured all the action today. Pause, rewind, and rewatch all of your favorite players and plays with Xfinity On Demand. Go to Xfinity On Demand, then go to Get Local, then choose CET Sports.
It's out of the timeout. Bingham going to try to preserve some of this time in the half. 2nd and 9. And it'll be Toilolo dropped in the backfield by Ata, and another timeout burned by the Bingham Miners. Their second timeout in the back-to-back timeouts. We'll take it with them. We'll be right back. 3rd down and 11 for East. Big 3rd down for this Bingham defense. 1:21 remaining here in the first half. As Ford gonna throw, going deep. He's going for Vickers, and pass ball's incomplete. Well shy of trying to draw a flag there. Vickers did a nice job of trying to get one on Milne to no avail. And it'll be punting formation coming up for East.
The East boundary wanted one, but I don't think there's any prayer of getting help from the officials on that one. That ball didn't have enough to get to its intended target. And I don't think many officials are going to bail you out in that scenario.
Milne hanging out around 40-yard line along with Braden Whistler. And we have a penalty before the snap.
You know, one of the interesting things, Dusty, going back to that 3rd down, is Bingham has the 1 timeout remaining. When you go to the air and it's incomplete, you leave the Miners with that timeout. And having to punt, even before this penalty, when they got a pair of kids lined up on the east side of the 50. And so they're going to have a short field. You leave them the 1 timeout. This is a moment where East really needs their defense to stand up big to close out this half.
And they kick toward Braden Whistler, who calls it fair catch at the 35-yard line. And that is where Bingham will take over with 1:09 remaining in the half and a short field to go.
Be interesting to see what the Miners elect to do here. Dusty, unofficially, I mean, I'm trying to keep some stats, right? Unofficially, I have Bingham with 9 rushing yards. And obviously, the sacks contribute to that, so that certainly helps the cause of the East defense. But Bingham has struggled in the ground game. We saw them spread things out in the semifinal, and they come out in a similar formation here.
Wood gonna throw. Now fires complete to Cosper. Cosper cut down at the 5-yard line. Great call. Cosper on the catch and run. 1st and goal, Miners.
Boy, as good as Nick Harris is, you see him try to switch. He had Whistler underneath, and Cosper just comes in right behind him. I don't know if Harris even sees it. Gets lost in a big run after the catch by Cosper to set up 1st and goal for the Miners.
Whistler dots the I behind Mascaro. It'll be Whistler looking for his 2nd touchdown, and he's got it. Touchdown, Braden Whistler.
Nice run here, Dusty. And you've said they found more success with the power. They go power again. Left side off tackle, and Whistler. This time, hey, East was able to get a helmet on him, but he only needed 5 yards. And for Whistler, that's pretty easy pickings. This is a kid who averages 7-8 yards a touch.
2nd touchdown of the half for junior running back Braden Whistler. As the point after is up and good. 58 seconds remain in the 1st half, and it's Miners 14, Leopard 7. Miners leading 14-7 in the 6A championship game. Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart with you. 3 guys back for the East Leopards, and Dane, I'd be surprised if this ball is returnable, as Brandon Lopez follows in the tradition of most Bingham Miner kickers, which means they put the ball through the back of the end zone.
Or through the front of the end zone. Really doesn't matter in high school, Dusty.
Well, put this one on the ground. It'll be returned. Here's Jalen Vickers. He got popped on his first return. He gets popped once again, as it'll be Leopard football at the 20-yard line.
You know, we mentioned that quarterfinal against American Fork. Bingham's defense is not American Fork's defense. I get it. But they had drives of 30 seconds. So while you see, inside of a minute remaining, this is certainly a scenario that East can march and score on. But typically this Bingham defense, pretty disciplined, pretty good in their assignments. I'd be surprised if they gave one up here late in the half.
As Ford quickly pitches out to Molisi, and Molisi dropped for a gain of 4 yards. And let's see what East is able to do here.
Yeah, no timeouts left for the Miners. I think for Coach Matich, obviously, maybe another run here. You got to be careful. Bingham still has that timeout, Dusty. The clock ticking here. Doesn't look like they're going to be in any rush to spend it.
Burnett at the top of the screen. Nielsen near side. And a run with, it's Ford. And Ford tracked down from behind Lalola Longi. Lalola Longi's had a terrific first half. And to see if East gets off another play with 10 seconds remaining here in the first half. Watch him track him down. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and that'll do it for the first half. 2 quarters in the books, and it's the Bingham Miners, the reigning 5A champions, leading the reigning 4A champion East High Leopards 14-7, heading into the locker rooms. You're watching the 6A state championship on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com.
Tell Mark that we were all together up here. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the center of the field. Each year, the Utah High School Activities Association has sponsored an academic all-state team to recognize those young men who have excelled in the classroom as well as on the field. The Deseret News has joined with the UHSAA as title sponsor for this prestigious award. Representing UHSAA Tiger Centers is Mr. Josh Castor from the Kaysville location and Mr. Jimmy Sen from Centerville. Representing the Utah High School Activities Association is Mr. Rob Cuff, Executive Director, Mr. Jim Birch from Harriman High School, representing Region 3, will present the awards to these outstanding strong athletes. Our recipients include Gavin Olson of Bingham, Bryson Green of Copper Hills, Lex Peterson of Fremont, Benjamin Fife of Harriman, Basil Takarali of Hillcrest, Micah A. Mooley of Lone Peak, Gavin Wallace of Riverton, Jacob Godfrey of Syracuse, Carter Green of Weaver, and Christopher Urbina of Westlake. It might interest you to know that the combined 3-point average of this team is 4.0. Join the Deseret News of the UHSAA and congratulate these young men with a warm round of applause. Congratulations. State champion and 2017 national champions, the Bingham High School Drum Team, the Buckaroos. They'll be performing their hip-hop routine entitled All the Way Up. The Bingham High School Buckaroos are directed by Jalen Miller and Charista and Megan Pearson. Again, please welcome the Buckaroos.
I saw that. Oh, yeah. I remember someone just said so dumb. Yeah. I was like, that's so good. It's here in Utah. It's here in Utah. Phoenix isn't even a word. You can't say Phoenix. It's Phoenix. Not Phoenixes. Phoenix, yeah, they're like,
One, two, 12,
Bingham. And in the blue jerseys, we have 2 students from each. Each team will start at the 50-yard line to punt and then pass as far as they can to set themselves up for a field goal attempt. And the first team to make the field goal wins. Each lucky winner will receive a $25 Visa gift card and a $20 Megaplex movie card courtesy of America First Credit Union. So get ready, get set, and go. In the white jerseys, it's Bingham, and in the blue jerseys, it's East. First one to kick the field goal will win. And the winner. 2 scores for Bingham. Congratulations. Thanks for participating in the America First Credit Union Pump Pass and Kick Challenge. America First Credit Union for our members come first.
Do you want to use our blanket and we'll get it later? Oh, no, it's okay. 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 See you guys.
University of Utah health believes that there's only one you. Be treated that way. And we would like to recognize one incredible individual who lives this motto every day. Cynthia Cox has been an athletic trainer at Bingham High School for the past 7 years. In addition to training, she also teaches a variety of advanced health classes. When she's not teaching at Bingham, Cynthia spends her time as a UHSAA professional and an outstanding example of excellence in Bingham. Thank you, Cynthia. There's only one you.
Well, I mean, like, by the time I get out of the car, I'll be bored by then. So, they're going to send
seats in the airport's presentation do not come onto the field. Your cooperation is expected and appreciated. Order Jimmy John's sandwich on the grill. Jimmy John's, bring you fresh, bring you fast. The UHSAA is going well on its ticketing online and buy your ticket online with TicketTap. TicketTap is the premier mobile ticketing platform for high school sports.
Welcome back to Rice Eccles Stadium. At the half, it is Bingham 14 and East 7. And Dane, this is the matchup we all wanted. And I tell you what, that first half, low scoring at 14-7, but not lacking for drama and not lacking for, I mean, there's plenty of storylines in a game that only had 21 points in the first half.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, if you're East, this is a team that, Dusty, they've had more total yards than Bingham has. And you could really argue both Bingham touchdowns are coming, well, every touchdown has been off of a short field. And that last touchdown for Bingham, the one that takes the lead, I mean, it's a route over the middle that Cosper kind of slides behind the second level of the defense, and then he takes it to 1st and goal. And Whistler able to capture both touchdowns off of big plays. The big question for me is Charlie Vincent, and what is his health status? We didn't see him return. It'll be interesting to see if he can go here in the second half. You know, East was moving the football prior to that injury, Dusty, and then once that injury happens to Charlie Vincent, boy, that weapon off the field, the Bingham defense has done a fantastic job. I think that's going to be a big X factor for this East team in the second half, whether or not Vincent can go.
You know what's amazing is not that I ever questioned how important Charlie Vincent is, but that team, speaking of East, they were out of sorts, getting guys in and out off the sideline, in and out of plays.
Well, it changes everything. Your personnel changes. I mean, we saw them move Ben Ford to the outside and bring in Nick Harris under center. And, I mean, Nick Harris didn't take backup snaps last week. I mean, this is something that's just very different. And so I think that injury is actually the story of this championship game up to this point.
And it'll be taken at the 7-yard line. And again, a terrific job by this Bingham kickoff team getting down the field and making the stop. It'll be a long field ahead of the East High Leopards. And in the first half, it was not the half that they expected. Their touchdown came off of a short field. And Dane, you mentioned they have more yards, but it's because they've had a longer field to work on almost that entire first half.
Yeah, they had the one drive that started back, their own 25-yard line or so, and they moved it into Bingham territory. But really neither offense has been able to find any real sustained success on any drive up to this point.
Ford under center, and it'll be Felatoa on the ground. And Felatoa quickly swallowed up by Samote Pepa. Ata came in, and a late flag came flying in. I mean, way late, as Angulau was also in on that stop as well with Longy.
You know, both these two programs have a lot of pride, Dusty. And you see the face mask penalty getting called there. I think they've both really lived up to it. And they've lived up to their strengths, the defensive side of the football, the power of football. As you see, just coming in there late and getting a piece of the face mask in on the tackle. Nice recognition there by the crew. I didn't see that as it was live, but officials right there saw it, able to catch it.
Apologize for any glitches you see on the scoreboard. Anything else, we get those figured out. Sony Molisi on the carry, and he's dropped Ata and Latu. What a game from David Latu.
Yeah, he has been all over, and I'll tell you, the guy who really came up there was Matangi. Look at 30, forcing the run back inside and allowing his teammates to come up and cut down the gain to only a couple of yards.
It was games we expect to call, and I talked about having Lololi Longy was one guy that to look out for, and he's played really, really well in this game.
Yep.
But David Latu has been all over the field in the first 3 quarters of this game.
He has been. Yeah, there's a lot of guys that really stepped up for Bingham on the defensive side.
And it'll be a handoff, and this is Molisi, and Molisi has a first down across the 40-yard line to the 42. Fresh set of chains for the Leopards.
Dusty, last week in the semi, you kind of called this that speed option underneath, right? And what'd you call it? I'm trying to remember what you called it last week.
It was kind of like the sprint handoff.
The sprint handoff, that's right. But really catching Bingham and trying to catch that Bingham offense flowing to the outside on the option and just able to sneak it underneath to Molisi. And I'll tell you what, I mean, he fumbled on his second carry, Dusty. He's been really good since then. Unofficially 5 carries, 50 yards since that fumble.
Back to the ground with Molisi and nothing doing. Once again, Samote Pepa was right there. A gain of 1, second down and 9.
It's really one of the understateds with this Bingham defense, and it was true last year as well when they had, well, they only had Tufele a couple games last year, but the year before that, when Jay Tufele really came on, when you allow your defensive tackle to take on 1, 2, 3 blockers, it opens up the entire rest of your defense to fly around and make plays. And Samote Pepa, when you can count on him making those interior tackles, boy, it opens up Matangi and Longi and Fotu.
There's Ford, kept it on the option, and Ben Ford inside the 45-yard line to the 43. 1st and 10, East.
And again, East starting to find some success on the ground. We mentioned they had a lot more yards in that first half than Bingham did as Matangi gets the tackle. But that time Ford on the keep. And right now, everybody contributing. We've seen Molisi with a big carry, Ford there with a big carry. You know a name we haven't called yet in this ball game, Dusty, and kind of surprising to me, is Tutu Span. We haven't seen Span on the field up to this point for the East Leopards.
In fact, I've been looking to see if he's...
Yeah, I haven't seen 22 even suited up.
Yeah. There goes Molisi in motion. Give to Felatoa. Felatoa bounces off 1 or 2 tackles, but only gets a yard on 1st down. Another 2nd down and long for the Leopards.
Another play that Latu blows up. And David Latu just comes up the middle and able to contact Felatoa. It was a nice job by Lame, just able to get around Latu, because that play could have been dead behind the line of scrimmage.
You think about Latu and Pepa are only juniors.
Yeah. So's Longi.
Well, and so is Ata Ata.
Oh, you said that, huh? Yeah. I'm a little late to the party. I got you.
No, it's all what I said. I was just kind of naming them. And
Yeah.
We said Longi, and I mean, I didn't realize Ata Ata was as well. I mean, normally when you look at Bingham, normally it's just you're chuck full of seniors that are all over the field, and this is a young team as well. And we were talking about this in the 4A championship game, how young Orem is, and all their juniors that'll be coming back next year.
You know, and it's one of the things about East, you know, a lot of their tailbacks are juniors and sophomores, but their line, their quarterback, they've got a lot of seniors on this team. And their perimeter, this is the year for East really to come up and to take 6A, to take the highest classification state championship in the state of Utah. This was the year that I think a lot of people thought would be their best opportunity to do it.
The chop block penalty against the East Leopards backs them up 2nd down and 24 after the penalty. Costly penalty. And I'll tell you, just found Vincent. He's on the sideline, helmet's on. And a gain up the middle for Molisi.
Well, another play where Tafuna comes in and lays a big hit. And, I mean, you mentioned Latu and the game he's had. How about Tafuna? He's been solid as well. Number 45 today has had a couple of nice hits. Middle linebacker for Bingham. Get Molisi down quickly.
2 receivers atop the screen here for Ford. And nothing doing up front. Ball's loose. Picked up by Longi. Going the other way. Touchdown, Bingham Miners.
Talked about this back in the first half, and pressure at the point of exchange, Dusty, and here it is. Look at that. I mean, just when Lamy is right there, Ford is giving it to Lamy, and bam, hit, the ball's out, and Lonnie Longi able to scoop it up and score, and the Bingham Miners now with a multi-possession lead.
You think about the line of Longis that have won state championships at Bingham. Sam Longi, Harvey Longi, so many others. And now Lolani Longi gets in the end zone on a defensive touchdown. 7:36 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Bingham scores on defense, and they lead the East Leopards 21-7 in the 6A championship. And you're watching the 6A state championship on the Watch It Network.
Back for the Leopards, number 8, Ford. Number 10, Peterson, and number 23, Session. Kicking off will be number 95, Lopez for them.
Welcome back into Rice Eccles Stadium. 21-7 after Lulonelongi picks up the fumble on a scoop and score. And East going to have to battle back here. As right now, this second half, starting out like second half back in week 2. But now a big return opportunity coming near side down the sideline. Across the 45-yard line. What a return from Chase Peterson. A shot in the arm that the Leopards were begging for. And to see if this can jumpstart the offense.
Boy, they needed something, and Chase Peterson, the junior, starting safety for these East Leopards on the return, gets a big return for East. They needed that, Dusty. I mean, you mentioned this is a game that you feel like, is it starting to slip away from the Leopards, in a game that we were talking, kind of mirroring that week 2 matchup, and you need something to go right. And for the East Leopards, it may be that return by Peterson.
To the line of scrimmage they come. And a run up the middle of Felatoa. And it's a short gain. Anguilao on the stop. And it'll be 2nd down and 6.
You know, so much is dependent on the way that you respond to adversity. And for Felatoa, I mean, obviously that last fumble, a nice job coming out here, picking up 4 yards. But what's your answer? What's your response if you're East? You know, Bingham, they gave up the first touchdown in this ball game. They had a 75-yard return on a kickoff, and 3 plays later in the end zone. What's your response to adversity? We're going to find out here from the Leopards.
We got a penalty, delay of game penalty on East. I was about to say, you know what? They need more first downs with 4 yards on them, and right now it's a loss of 1.
Yeah, and, you know, I mean, we've started to see some penalties. I mean, Dusty, the chop block, right? The chop block puts them behind the sticks just a possession ago, and we're starting to see that kind of start to catch up, where East is shooting themselves in the foot a little too frequently here.
2nd down and 11 after the penalty. Ford going to throw for Nielsen, and that ball is incomplete. A little too long. And it'll be 3rd down and 11.
You know, not a bad idea to go to the air. And Ben Ford hasn't, well, shoot, I have that as his first pass of the game.
Yeah, because the other ones were Nick Harris.
Yeah, Nick Harris. So, no, I saw at halftime he was 0 of 2. Yeah, he was 0 of 2 at half. Not bad. But, you know, we saw something similar. The run game was getting bottled up last week in the semifinal, and what do? They ran a nice little screen route for Nash. Got a great block on the outside, and he took it the distance. Maybe the air game is what can open up this Bingham D.
Here comes Ford. Looking to get the edge. Ben finds the edge. He's got to get a first down. Ford still battling, is popped at the end of that run by Ata. As if Ata does not get there. I don't know why the official is signaling we're a little off here on the field. They had stopped the clock. And now we'll let it wind down here for us. But they had stopped the clock, and one official was pointing first down Bingham. But it's 4th down and 2, and the Leopards are going for it.
Maybe the ball game here.
And a jump offsides. Gotta hold your water. And East jumps offside, and it'll be 4th down and 7, and the punting unit will come on.
And you take the decision out of your coach's hands. You know, one of the things where we saw earlier in this ball game where East, I didn't know if they could try a field goal. You said it would have been about a 42-yarder. They elected to go for it. They didn't get it. And here, trying to go for it, trying to get that momentum back on their side, and a false start. Friendly fire, again, leads to the undoing of the East drive.
As this kick's a line drive kick taken by Milne. Dangerous return by Milne. And Dax is dropped at around the 12-yard line. And it'll be minor football with 6 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Timeout on the field, timeout here. You are watching the 6A State Championship on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com. 6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, and it's Bingham Minor football after the punt. Take over from their own 12-yard line. Ka'ili, the running back, and Ka'ili will have nothing on first down. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Miners.
You know, the interesting thing, Dusty, when we look back at what this game has been, how about Bingham? 61 yards passing and 14 yards rushing in the first half. 75 total yards for the Bingham Miners, and yet they lead by 2 possessions.
You know, it's amazing. Your defense does it in 2 short fields.
Yeah.
Whistler has the kick return. You have a short punt. As Whistler has the carry on 2nd down. And oh my goodness.
Nick
Ball's
Harris.
loose. Ball's loose.
Harris popped that puppy loose.
Mr. Official might have a black guy with some Miners, or probably Leopards seeing they had the ball, and Bingham has it.
Tell you what, Harris has flown all over the field, and you see him right here, going to come up and boom, shoulder pad right on the football. That's right at the foot of Ika. Look at that ball just hanging out there. Looked like Hamilton tried to maybe pick it up. A nice job by Bingham to dive on that football and keep the possession. Boy, that would have switched the momentum, huh?
Yeah, Uncle Mo would have changed uniforms. Go to the shotgun, and it's Wood rolling, firing, and complete to Dax Milne. Bingham making the plays that need to be made, and it's 1st and 10 Miners.
Boy, Wood took a shot right in the thigh, too, but delivers this ball right to Milne. And we talk about these receivers. Cosper, obviously he had his impact in the first half, and now Milne with his first reception of the ball game. These are 2 really good receivers for Bingham that really don't get talked about much just because of the offense they play in. But these are both kids that could play these positions in the next level.
And here is Ka'ili, and Ka'ili just keeps his feet churning. It's Apawika making the tackle, but it's 6 yards after the gain here to the 31-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
And that's Bingham football, right? Back to the ground, let that big offensive line do the work, allow your backs to fill the lanes generated up front. Fantastic job by Ka'ili, just keeping the legs moving. And as it snows here, and we start to see it stick a little bit, you're going to see that ground game become ever more important for the Bingham Miners.
Milne in motion is the Bingham Miners special as Ryan Wood runs a quarterback sneak on 2nd down and 4, gets 3 yards. It'll be 3rd and 1.
And I've got Ryan Wood unofficially now with a negative 2 yards net rushing after that gain. And 4 first-half sacks for this East defense has been the name of the game. Well, let's just let Wood do the work, and a nice job on that quarterback sneak to really open up the playbook here on 3rd down. But let's be honest, it's Bingham. There's one place this football's going.
He's wearing number 32. Off the right side, and Ka'ili has the first down across the 35-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Miners at the 36.
Well, it speaks to how good Bingham is, Dusty. And we mentioned back in that first half that when you look up and down the line of scrimmage, it seems like East players are bigger and stronger, and yet that offensive line still able to gain leverage and create enough room for Ka'ili to get ahead for a pair of yards and pick up the first down.
Lone set back is Mascaro. New formation for the Miners. And it's quarterback sneak on 1st and 10. A gain of 3 yards to the 39-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 7. As the snow continues to fall here at Rice-Eccles Stadium, somewhere we'll be joined by a lot of people from Lehigh. They'll be wondering how in the world they're going to throw the football in the air raid in this.
It's going to be a really interesting factor in that 6A state championship. They're probably hoping that this thing blows out before that game starts here in about 2 hours.
I don't think anybody ordered a snowblower. Here's Ka'ili. And Ka'ili will be about 2 yards short of the first down marker. Gets to the 44-yard line. Got to get to the 46, so it's 3rd down and 2.
And I like them going with Ka'ili here in this second half as it's cold and the weather becoming wet. You know, Whistler, certainly good, but right now this is just about being physical and allowing your big physical back, Ka'ili, to really deliver some body blows to the defense of these East Leopards.
Ika jumped, no whistle.
It's close, really close.
And now a timeout taken by Coach Lamborn, and he wants the call. Not going to have it. Timeout on the field taken by the Miners. First timeout of the half. They lead 21-7. Third down and 2 out of the timeout. Ka'ili, the deep back. It'll be pitch out to Ka'ili, and he's got the first down across midfield. Amoni Ka'ili to the 46-yard line of the East High Leopards. 3rd and 2. He picks up 10.
Boy, and Nick Harris is really close to dropping this play for a loss. He comes around the perimeter. You see 16 gets picked up by the fullback right there. I think he was thinking for an inside, maybe a blast type of carry, B gap, C gap, but the toss able to get around Nick Harris and a nice gain for Bingham on 3rd down.
Stay with Ka'ili, the deep back, and here's the power to the right. And Amoni squirts out of the scrum and gets 9 on first down. It'll be 2nd and 1.
You know, this is why you don't ever give up. And Ka'ili kind of goes into the massive humanity. Watch this. Ka'ili runs into just nothing. And you see a couple players just stand up. They're done. Well, Ka'ili's not down. Look at him just squirt through, and you play until the whistle blows, man. Bring the guy down, and a big carry there for Amoni Ka'ili. Nice gain.
We've seen the quarterback sneak out of this formation twice already. And 3 times now, as Wood will pick up the first down at the 36-yard line. As the 3rd quarter is coming to a close, and the Miners trying to lock up the 6A state championship, the first 6A state championship in the history of the state of Utah. And the East High Leopards right now, they're hanging on for dear life. And I think maybe Coach Schlanborn maybe not even snap the ball here.
Well, he has to.
Well, he does have to, sorry.
Yep.
The 2-second differential. It'll be Ka'ili, power to the right. Ka'ili almost gave us an additional play. Gets down to the 28-yard line, and that'll be the final play of the 3rd quarter. We head to the 4th quarter, the final quarter of the 6A football season. It is Bingham 21 and East 7. You're watching the 6A football championship on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com. Welcome back into Rice-Eccles Stadium, beginning of the fourth quarter of the 6A championship game. Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart with you. Bingham 21-7, second down and 2. Looking to continue this painful drive for the East Leopards. Kaili dropped in the backfield. It's Apuika getting in the backfield, knocking him back to the 31-yard line. It'll be third down and 4 for the Miners.
And that's one of the players for Coach Madich that can really step up and provide a lift to this defense. Apuika, Dusty, if you go back to that first quarter, he was all over the place early on. And Bingham's done a really nice job of limiting his effectiveness in the second and third quarters. Here in the fourth, two-possession game, East needs 62 to dominate.
Back to the quarterback sneak formation. Kaili in the slot at the top of the screen. And it'll be Wood looking to throw. He's going for Milne. He's got him at the 10. Milne out of bounds at the 6-yard line, where Natuvai finally knocked him out of bounds. And it's first and goal, Miners.
This route is won at the snap of the football. And I'm not sure if it was a move put on by Milne, but on the play, Natuvai actually loses his feet, gets caught up a little bit, and it allows Milne to be wide open. No way that Natuvai can get back. You see the separation there at the bottom of your screen. A nice job by Milne running to the boundary. That's where Woods places it. And it's first and goal once again for Bingham.
Mascaro, the deep back, behind Wood, who runs the quarterback sneak, and Wood keeps going. Rides the wave. Did he get in the end zone? He did. Touchdown, Ryan Wood.
This offensive line for Bingham. Look at the penetration up front. Pushing everybody back in that front 4, front 7 of the East Leopards. And Wood able to just follow him into the end zone. How about the response by Bingham on the line of scrimmage in the second half? They gave up 4 sacks in the first half. In the second half, Dusty, there's been all sorts of room for Dusty.
Nick Harris gets in. It blocks the extra point as I get in the end zone. And we head to the break. 11:08 remaining in the fourth quarter. It's Bingham 27, East 7. You're watching the 6A championship on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com. Bingham leads 27-7 in the fourth quarter of the 6A championship game, the game we've all been waiting for. And since East scored and went up 7-0, it's 27 unanswered points from the Miners. Kick will be taken by Peterson at the 8-yard line, and he gets out to the, that was Parkin. And almost had a chance to snap this one loose.
You know, I had a bit of a slip right before the commercial break. I said they opened up the hole for Dusty. It was actually for Wood, who got his first rushing touchdown. But it just speaks to what I think of Ryan Wood, that I would equate him with my good friend Dusty Litster.
You know, he's a lucky man.
I'm serious, too. I'm not like being sarcastic.
Hey, Matt's 12 years.
I know. It's been a long time.
Mike and Mike came close today, and we're not going anywhere soon. As Ford going to throw. Got his, that was Harris hooking up with Ford at midfield. First down at the 49-yard line.
And I think that's only the second time the East has thrown the ball in this second half. And you see they're trying to show that option. Fantastic blocking, creating a nice pocket there for Harris. And talk about ball placement, huh?
You know, and let's be honest. Since Charlie Vincent went down, the most effective part of this offense has been Nick Harrison at quarterback.
That. Yep.
And not only that, having Ford as a threat.
What is going on? Shotgun formation.
And it's Harris going to look to run. Harris gets away from Ata, and he's got a lot more room. Here goes Nick Harris. Ford lays off a block in the back as Harris has run out of bounds at the 26-yard line. And there is the spark that this offense needed. And it's 1st and 10, Leopards at the 26.
Boy, you're exactly right, Dusty. And, you know, let's give a lot of credit to Ben Ford on this play. I mean, first of all, Harris, right? I mean, a fantastic job of recognition. How about this move, able to get out of that arm tackle? But you mentioned it. Down the field, Ben Ford just going to lay off of what would have been a clear block in the back right there. You see, nope, I'm not touching this. We're going to let Harris get the yards and try to get this offense moving.
Put a man in motion. It is Molisi who hangs on to the football. He nearly fumbled that thing and gets to the 21, maybe 20-yard line, where it'll be 2nd down and 6.
Yeah, this is a real interesting change for Coach Matich, but some life back in that offense, Dusty, and a couple of big plays, and next thing you know, they're right on the doorstep of the red zone. Just wonder if it's going to be too late for East to claw out of the hole that they're in right now.
Down 20 points the 4th quarter, got nothing left to lose. As Felatoa gets stunned at the line of scrimmage, and who else? David Latu blows up that play, and it is now 3rd down and 6.
It's been what he's done all game. Dusty, and you mentioned the linebacking play when we were previewing this game a week ago. You mentioned how big that would be, and Latu, more of a down lineman for this Bingham Minor defense, but a fantastic job. He and Peppa have really clogged up most of that interior run game for the East Leopards.
As Harris is going to throw. Harris looking. He had a man open, but he fell down. Latu with the face mask. He goes downfield, broken up, and caught for the touchdown. Oh, my goodness. Nielsen with the catch off the tip, and it's a touchdown for the East Leopards.
There's a penalty flag down at the 12-yard line, Dusty, but I think this was actually a trip up downfield of a receiver for East. We'll see how this lies, but a missed penalty right there on the face mask, and this is just like the coach drew it up. You allow the DB to tip it up and allow your guy Nielsen to catch it.
I think initially the first flag, I thought they maybe thought that Harris got face masked, which we saw clearly he didn't there. And they're going to take this on the kick.
Yeah, it was down the field on a receiver.
They're going to force it on the kickoff, and I think if I'm Coach Maddox, onside kick time.
Definitely. I was going to say, how about Nick Harris? Dusty? I think he's 3 for 3 with a touchdown.
Threw 1 incomplete pass in the first half. He was 1 of 2.
That's right. Yeah, official stats once again. Man, I'm glad that there are people to double check my work, huh?
The kick is up, and it is good. And a welcome sign to the 6A championship game. East goes down the field and scores 27-14 remaining in the 27-14, 9:08 remaining in the 4th quarter. You're watching the 6A championship game on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com. Welcome back to Rice Eccles Stadium as some life has been breathed back into this stadium with the East Leopards getting on the board, 27-14. There's a 10-yard penalty at the end of that play, Dane, and it's enforced here. So if you're Coach Matich, right, onside kick here.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those where I think he'd be tempted to do it anyway because it's a two-possession game. You know that Bingham's going to try to run. But with those 10 yards tacked on, yeah, I mean, I think this is a pretty easy call. Now, Bingham's probably going to be more than aware that that's what's going to be coming. But, no, I'm with you, Dusty. Same page here.
Well, and Bingham knows it as well, as they got the hands team out there. And I like also the idea, if you're doing it here, you kind of do one of the running kicks as well. Because you have to stay even and all that kind of stuff that goes into it. As Flores will kick this ball away, and back deep is Ka'ili. As Flores, we have an offside penalty. It's offside on the East Leopards, and we'll do it again. Let's say this too, and I know Coach Match is a much smarter football man than I will always be that. I've never understood when you get that penalty, why not make them return it with all your guys right there? It's not a long run. You can pin them deep, and not only that, you hold them to a punt, now you're getting the ball on the other side of the 50-yard line. All those things, but they do in the NFL too, and those are guys that get paid lots of money.
Well, I'll give you this as the contrary. Bingham had a 70-plus yard return just a quarter and a half ago, 2 quarters ago.
But it's Ka'ili, not Whistler.
Fair. Just saying.
And now I got them in their hands team. As Flores will come on, and now there's the onside kick. Pooched it up. Fair caught at the 34-yard line. And it'll be minor ball at the 34.
Time for this East defense to play like they did back in that first quarter, Dusty, and really shut down the Bingham run game. I mean, I would expect a lot of power runs here from the Miners. Keep the ball on the ground, take time off the clock. Got to get some stops here and really shut down this run game for the Bingham Miners and get the ball back for your offense.
Empty set backfield here for Wood. Quarterback sneak, and Apu'ikil with the stop along with Hansen and also Miley, who have been quiet since the first half. Those are names we were saying on a regular occurrence in the first and second quarter.
Yeah, and you know whose name we haven't said very much this week that we did last week? That's Tausinga. Tausinga was all over the field last week for this East defense, and today we have not called his name very frequently. Bingham's done a nice job of compensating for number 7 on the defensive end.
And Wood, now he's going to be taking this down to 1-2 seconds on play clocks.
Going to see a timeout taken.
Interesting here from Coach Lamborn. He was waiting for that.
Yep.
Timeout taken by the Miners. We'll take it with them. 8:25 remaining in the fourth quarter. Out of the timeout, here come the Miners. And it's a pitch out to Ka'ili. Got a wall of blockers, and Ka'ili has a first down. How about that? No, they're actually marking him short of the first down marker. So he'll be a yard short, and it'll be 3rd down and 1.
Boy, I thought he had that easily.
Yeah.
But Dusty, your call was right on. That entire sideline was sealed. I mean, fantastic job by the Bingham Miners creating. Look at this wall on the outside. Players getting down the field. It's a fantastic job. A blocker on every hat. And boy, look, he is well across that. Boy, I don't know on that spot.
Also, Mill might have got away with a freebie there. 8:19 remaining, 3rd down and 1. And it'll be Ka'ili And Amone has the first down at the 47-yard line.
It has been the Amoni show in this second half, Dusty. I mean, when you look at the tailbacks, the last 8 carries to the backfield have all been to Amoni Kaili. In fact, I'm trying to remember if Whistler's been on the field for an offensive snap in the second half.
He's not been on the field since the fumble that was recovered by Bingham.
Yeah.
Which was, it, in my estimation, a very much of swing play in this ball game.
Huge.
As it is Kaili, and he breaks through some tackles, and Amone to the 48-yard line, pardon me, 47-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 3.
Okay, this isn't the first time. I've got a new nickname for Amoni Kaili. He's the Magic Man. Now you see him, now you don't. Look at, I mean, you've got a pair of East Leopard tacklers that think they've got him, trying to bring him to the ground, and Kaili able to spin out of it, pick up 7 yards. Amoni Kaili, man, that kid, he deserves a extra large ring for his performance today, because he's going to carry these Bingham Miners to a potential state championship.
There's Wood on the quarterback sneak, getting inside the 45-yard line. Man, he thought it was short a couple more yards. This offensive line, Dane, is motivated. Right now, it's about demoralizing the East defense, as it's going to be 2nd down and inches, or probably 3rd and inches.
And to me, it's just extremely impressive when you remember that first half, Dusty, because it was a complete role reversal. It was East dominating up front. They trailed, but they were more impressive along the line of scrimmage. And in this second half, the Bingham Miners have responded really on both sides of the football.
3rd and inches. Kaili, no, pardon me, yeah, it is Kaili right behind Wood. Pitch out to Kaili, looking for the edge, and Amone has the first down as he gets inside the 43-yard line. 1st and 10, Miners.
It's exactly what we expected when this drive came out almost 3 minutes ago, was run, run, run. And you know, East is expecting it. A lot of guys flowing to that toss side, but Bingham able to create just enough space for Kaili to pick up a pair and to move the sticks.
So impressive. And what you have to do, too, you say Toyolo, he ran out to meet Mascaro. You have got to hem him in. It's outside arm free. When you square up, there's a reason why Rudy gets knocked on his rear end every time he watches that movie. It is outside shoulder, it's inside shoulder in and outside arm free, and they force him back inside. And they're winning at the edge. And there's Amone gets dropped. There'll be a loss of 1 on 1st down. It'll be 2nd down and 11.
You talk about edge here. This is all edge play by Johnson Hansen. The linebacker or defensive end does a fantastic job of getting upfield and forcing the run back inside where his help defense is, and able to stop Kaili for a loss of 1 on the carry.
Clock continues to dwindle away here. 5 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the 6A championship. As Wood going to run this thing down. 10 seconds remaining on the play clock for Bingham. Mascaro, the lone setback behind Wood. And it'll be a quarterback sneak, a gain of a yard to the 43-yard line. And now 3rd down and 10, right where East wants them. And imagine right now you're looking at man-to-man beaters on the field for Bingham trying to salt this thing away, as they know that heat is going to be coming from East.
It'd be interesting to see how aggressive the Miners are here. Do you run the ball and take another 30 seconds off the clock, or do you go for the first down and try to really win the state championship right here? And to me, I wouldn't be surprised to try to throw a ball up to Cosper. He's down at the bottom of your screen right now.
And he's inside the hash mark, a lot of field to work with. 2 seconds, now just get it off. Wood lost the football, and it's recovered by East. Hit by Mascaro from behind. Friendly fire causes a turnover, and it's East football at the 45-yard line.
That's exactly what they wanted to do. You see Wood rolling to his right, and boy, 2 men can't occupy the same space, Dusty. Runs into his own man, or his own man runs into him. And East there to jump on it now. Their last drive took under 2 minutes. They need this one to be just as quick, maybe even quicker. Trailing by 2 possessions here inside of 5 to play.
Is it Ford or Harris? It is Nick Harris under center. 4:43 left in the 4th quarter.
Ford up in the slot.
Harris looking, pressure coming. Harris now gets rid of it, and it's no! In and out of the hands of Matongi. He would have taking care of business for East, but Matangi could not squeeze it. An ill-advised throw from Harris.
For those wondering about the definition of no, here's another look at it. Boy, this one had interception written all over it. You see coming up, Atta getting the hit on Harris. He's just trying to get it away to avoid the play. That one right through the wickets. Got to catch that ball if you're Matangi. That's the state championship.
Yeah. You imagine if Nash had caught that ball on the backside.
Yeah.
That's Auburn, Georgia, 2013.
Yeah. Yep.
Harris going to throw on second down. He's going to Nash, who stopped running on the play. The ball was well overthrown. It'll be 3rd down and 10 now for the Leopards.
You know, this is one of the things, and I mean, I've never been to an East practice. Coach Match will probably yell at me for saying this, but you know, how often do you work on the passing game? You've got your backup quarterback in there right now, and Nash from the snap, he's looking at the quarterback almost like, are you gonna throw it underneath? I mean, the communication didn't look like it was real solid between quarterback and receiver that time. Harris trying to go over the top of the defense. Nash almost wondering what he was going to do. And I mean, it's hard to connect for a big play when you're not on the same page.
And they run that every pregame.
Yeah. There you go.
3rd down and 10. Big play. Pressure coming on Harris. Going deep. Again, broke off the route. And it's incomplete. The pass intended for Parkin.
I don't know if he broke off the route or if this one just sailed a little bit out of Harris's hand. To me, it looked like this one had a lot more air under it than maybe intended, because I actually thought that the inside route was there. But that ball well overthrown and incomplete again.
Maybe a little column A, a little column B.
Could be, could be.
Timeout taken by East. Big play coming up. Fourth and 10 for the East Leopards, and really the ball game to go. Down 27-14. They have got to get a first down here. It'd be really hard to stay alive. Harrison the shotgun. Gonna throw, looking, got to get rid of the football. Nick looking. Flag coming out. Harris going down. Atta came in and got the sack, and it is turnover on downs, as that flag more than likely is a holding penalty on the Leopards.
There's just no one open. And for Nick Harris, I mean, you know, there's guys out in routes, but there was literally, I mean, I'm looking down the field, and there just are not a lot of options for Harris to throw to. Everybody locked up. No one able to get separation, and it's a play that's dead in the water thanks to the pass rush of Atta.
With barring something crazy like the miracle in the Meadowlands, the Bingham Miners looking to saw the way to the 6A championship here. 2 timeouts remaining for East, 1 timeout remaining for Bingham. You're going to have to get stops and use timeouts probably on 2nd and 3rd downs here. And checking in is Peyton Jones, the backup quarterback, is now the deep back. And he'll pitch out to Jones. He had nowhere to go, and Jones will lose 3 yards on first down. Timeout burned here by East There is 4:08 remaining on the official game clock. And timeout taken by East. Will take it with them. East trailing 27-14. Second down and 13 for the Miners. Ka'ili set right behind Wood, and that's where they go. And Amone met by Nick Harris. They're trying to strip that ball loose, gets 3 yards on the carry. And now East will take their final timeout. 10 seconds rolls off the clock at 3:58. Timeout taken by East. That is their final timeout here in the 6A title game. Third down and 10. Big down here for the Leopards. Bingham coming out in the shotgun. Mascaro in the backfield with Wood. And he has nowhere to go, and Wood will be sacked for the 5th time today. It'll be 4th down, and the punting unit more than likely coming on for Bingham as Coach Lamborn's seeing off the play clock wind down. No timeouts remaining for the Leopards. And he'll continue to run. Tick, 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 in the words of Chris Berman.
You know, Dusty, one of the things you mentioned, or we were talking earlier about, where do you think this game changed? And you mentioned that fumble that Bingham recovered. To me, I think this game changed with the O-line play of Bingham. And, you know, you look at that particular string of plays, and East is right back there in the backfield. They're shutting things down. And then those 3 plays, well, we'll continue that.
Timeout on the field. We'll take it with them. 3:14 remaining in the 4th. Fourth down, and the Miners are going to punt this ball away. There's a short kick off the foot of Wood. And it takes a sideways roll. It'll be down at the 18. 3:04 remaining in this ball game. East slim and none of chances. You're only down 2 scores with 3 minutes left. Crazier things have happened. They got to score, and they got to get an onside kick.
Yeah, and you know, so that point I was trying to make earlier, the front of Bingham played a completely different ball game for the 3rd and most of this 4th quarter. That last drive, we kind of saw East dominate again like they did in the first half. East from this point out has to win the line of scrimmage big every play.
Harris going deep. Got a defender there and a receiver there. The ball is incomplete, intended for Jaden Afuvai. And it is now 2nd and 10.
Marcus Hamilton, the junior DB in coverage. And this is a kid that, in my personal estimation, Dusty, I don't think he gets enough discussion. And he will next year, coming back for Bingham and this minor defense. He was huge in their victory earlier this year against Lone Peak, and he's got a chance to be a really good corner. He is a really good corner, but he'll be even better next year.
Ford in the slot this side. Harris steps up, pressure coming. Nick's got to get rid of the football. He does, and it is caught on, no, incomplete. In out of the hands of Nash, could not hang on to that football, and it is now 3rd and 10.
You want to know how good Lolani Longi is? That's how good he is. He just pushed Lame Falatoa about 5 yards back and forced Harris to step up in the pocket, maybe get rid of that ball pretty quickly. But Longi, I mean, his rush from around the edge has been really good for Bingham all game long and all season.
3rd down and 10 for the Leopards. Harris gonna roll this side, pressure's all over him. He gets away from it. Matangi's there, and down goes Harris, and it's now 4th down and 11.
There's just not a lot of room. Is Harris trying to find some space, and he's looking back to that right side. The play was designed to go to the left. Nash was a little late running his route, getting off the line of scrimmage. Harris scrambling back to his right side, and then Nash finally trying to get into a route. And again, just not a lot of options for Harris to go. Going to be bailed out here on the penalty on the flag.
Yeah, unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against the Miners. And that is enough for a East 1st down.
Had a throat slash there, which is the generation for the penalty flag. It's been an unacceptable gesture for a couple of years now.
Somewhere Greg Foster is wondering if he saw what he did back in 1998. Granted, none of these kids were born in 1998.
Yeah.
But still, he would wonder.
I don't think many modeled their game after Greg Foster.
As Molisi gets a carry, trying to catch the Miner defense off guard, and East has got to speed up here. Don't have the luxury of taking time here.
Yeah, got to run up. They're back in a huddle. I mean, this is just an unfamiliar scenario for East.
Harris has pressure coming. He's got to get rid of the football, and he's hit from behind by Longi around the 40-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 2, and Harris slow to get up.
Harris now just getting up, but you see, I mean, keeping the eyes downfield. But again, the receivers have just struggled to get open. And a lot of that credit goes to these defensive backs for Bingham. Mill, Cosper, Hamilton. This is a good secondary for the Bingham Miners. And all the talk about the linebackers and Peppa up front, but that secondary for Bingham is just as difficult to play against, and they're locked down. And for Harris, I mean, we've seen a couple times where he drops back to throw, and there's just no separation.
And again, East has got to get moving here, as Harris had to come off the field after having the play stopped. And so Ford under center. Ben going deep, got a man. Back there is Cosper, and he drops the interception. Braden Cosper could not squeeze it. It'll now be 4th down and 2.
Have another look at this, and not the first time that a jump ball thrown to center field. And for Bingham, a couple of missed opportunities to really put this ball game away in that secondary. You see Cosper just couldn't bring that ball down and in. I was wondering if Alphavai maybe got in there to disrupt it. But that ball just never able to be sealed by Cosper, and East has one more chance.
4th and 2 for the Leopards. Nick Harris back in the ball game. And it'll be a run, and it's Molisi. Molisi still going. Sione inside the 40-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. Leopards at the 39. 1:11 remaining here in the 4th quarter, as they're going to try to threaten to get in the end zone.
East running up to the line quickly. Nice run here by Molisi. But they're going to line up and try to spike this thing.
And Harris does spike it with 1:09 remaining in the fourth quarter. And mentioned only 1:09 left. You got to score, and they got to do it with some time left. You can't be doing this with about 5 to 6 seconds left in this game.
You know, Dusty, I'm going to ask you to put your coaching hat on. Do you go fake spike there?
You would think so, but you have to have that play in. You don't know if they have that play in.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I would.
All right.
You got to catch them when they're off guard.
Yeah.
But I got to have someone like Dan Marino, Riley Nelson, who did it in a bowl game some years back. Quick throw to the near side, off Uvai. And he gets inside the 35-yard line where he's driven back, and now he's got to hurry and pop up and got to get going here inside of a minute remaining in the championship game. And it's 2nd down and 4. But again, you got to get moving. As Harris looking, going deep for Nielsen's got 2 receivers there, and neither of them able to come down with it. Incomplete, and it'll be 4th down and 4.
Nielsen and Nash both in the same spot here. Harris just going to let one of them go up. Nash, he's verbal to Utah State, number 25. You see him get underneath there, got his hands on it. A future Utah State Aggie as a wide receiver. That's one that you have the positioning, need to make that catch.
So here's the ball game, 4th and 4. Said that a couple times this afternoon. And now the final timeout taken by the Miners. 36 seconds left. The Miners 36 seconds away from the 6A championship. Fourth down and 4 for the Leopards. Trying to keep this drive and this season alive. As Ford is under center, and they're going to run. No, he kept it. And now he's got to get rid of it, and that is intercepted. Bingham Miners are going to win the 2017 6A state championship, but I believe it was Dax Milne that came away with this one.
You know, once again, we've seen this option be out of sorts, and it's to the right side. He's looking to pitch, but his pitchman isn't there. And now sees him late to the party. How about Milne? What an interception for Dax Milne to salt away a 6A state championship for the Bingham Miners.
I believe on that sideline is last year's state champion Longi Tuifua might have been over there watching his fellow Miners. Out comes Wood in victory formation. And the Bingham Miners, think about the run since 2006. 2 years ago, lost in the semifinals. Last year was the road to redemption. This year, it was the road to the first ever 6A state championship football game, and they got it. They beat East in week 2, and they get them in the state championship game as well. The Bingham Miners, your 2017 6A football champions. Dane, your thoughts?
You know, this was the game everyone wanted. And East, a fantastic season. Bingham, a fantastic season. The Kings meeting on the football field for the pinnacle 6A state football championship. And the Bingham Miners did what the Bingham Miners do. They took advantage of East turnovers. They did not give East easy opportunities. I love the response from Bingham up front, and we've talked about this in that second half. That offensive line and defensive line for Bingham looked completely different than they did in the first half, and no better measurement than the sack number. What they gave up in the first half versus the second half, and Wood and Kaili took advantage of that. They scored when they had short fields when they needed to. They did the easy work and took advantage of easy opportunities, and the Bingham Miners